Eagles win. Eagles win. Eagles win. Victory Monday is so much more sweeter after an Eagles victory over the Dallas Cowboys. We're here live, trending in the AM in 30 seconds, taking all your thoughts, opinions, and comments on the big Eagles victory. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network, where your opinions actually matter. And we've got a fun-filled day because it's Victory Monday. But make sure you do me that favor, hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button. It's free to do it. Does not cost you a thing to do that and help this show so we can get everyone's comments and thoughts in today because it's Eagles Victory Monday, the day after a victory over the Dallas Cowboys. Nothing is sweeter. I am your host, Phil Stiefel. Follow me on all social media platforms at Beard of Knowledge. And let's not waste any time as we talk Eagles beating the Dallas Cowboys 28-23 on the 425 primetime game of the week in the NFL. That's right, Will Smith. Eagles. That's right. Dallas sucks. Go Birds. Well, that was a stressful game. I won't lie. It's our time. Big win. Got done. That's all that matters. Hey, at the end of the year, a win is a win. We don't go back and say, well, they won, but not as great. A win is a win. Prescott doing a headstand on the high. Oh, man. Yeah, it was big. Boom, hit, whatever. I'm surprised that Dak Prescott got up from that when it first happened. Then slow motion, you see, man, it was a scary hit, but, great now that he was okay. What is up, Peanut? Happy Victory Monday day. There's some extra juice when it's Victory Monday against the Eagles. We're versus the Cowboys. You just gotta love it. Happy Monday, go Birds. Adam, correct. Proud Papa. Congratulations to my man Jason Voorhees having his son on the weekend. Congratulations, my man. Much, 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 much happiness to you and yours for that. 8-1. Jabari Brown says 8-1 is correct. No other team in the NFL is 8-1. None. It doesn't matter how you win. The fact that you're 8-1, 9 weeks into the season, is a massive, massive 9-1. Just think about it. They are 9-1. The Philadelphia Eagles. No other team is. That nobody else. Love it, and it's so great getting into the. I tell you, the Eagles are undefeated since you've had a son. That's all I'll say right there, my man. That's what it is. What is up, K1? We missed you on Friday. We did. And your boy Kenny Gainwell with a big touchdown on Sunday. I'll never say anything wrong about Kenny Gainwell again. Fantastic run that he had there for the touchdown. Till he does something wrong. Then I'll crush him again. But yes, the Eagles took care of business yesterday. There's a lot of positives. There's some negatives to take out of the game. But the one thing I want to really zone in on throughout the day is the fact that for all the negatives, the fact that certain things didn't go as planned here and there, we got to remember Dallas is still. But I mean, that was a very hard fought game from the Dallas Cowboys. They are really this close to being on par with the Eagles. They're not quite up to par. But when we look at an X's and O's thing or this or that that's not going well, we got to remember that we went up against a very, very good football team, a very well coached team, a talented football team, a team that is still right there in the thick of it in the NFC. So when we look at any negatives from the game, we got to remember it wasn't like we were playing a scrub team, and they took advantage of us. We played one of the top elite teams. We took care of business. It wasn't pretty. It was close, but we took care of business. Let's talk some Birds, Philly Phil. We are. That's all. That we are zoned in on the Birds. It's bye week now. This week might slow down conversation wise, but man, Victory Monday. It's so sweet with coming off of such a close. It's almost like the victory being so close. It's got me more excited. If we would have blown out the Cowboys 50-10 or something like that, it would be fun today. But something about winning that close game that was right there, and the defense made plays when it mattered most. We had the closer, Hassan Reddick out there, Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham with big sacks late in the game. The defense coming up big in those big moments, making the big plays when necessary, even though they didn't earlier in the game. It just makes the victory Monday over the Cowboys so much sweeter. I don't know if that comes through if that came out the right way there, but victory Monday on a close game over the Cowboys, there's just something sweet about it. Prescott is a break there. So man, I'm telling you, Prescott took a hit, man. That's all I'm gonna say. He is one lucky SOB there. Might see some more Aqua Bowman. Oh my god. I don't know if you caught it, K1, but that announcer for NFL on Fox, or the NFL on Fox announcer, he nailed the pronunciation of the guy's name. But we might, yes. Dallas Goddard broke his arm on a big play in the game, and he's early reports is he's got to have an MRI today. But I don't know. He might miss about 4 weeks. They're saying 4 to 6 weeks. The early reports is he's going to have to go on IR. So yes, that does mean some Aqua Bowman reps properly. Hopefully, Grant Calcaterra is okay and come back from that concussion a little sooner than we'd hoped. But Dallas Goddard injured again. Was it his fault? No. Was it a dirty play? Maybe. I don't know. I don't really lean towards too much on the dirty play aspect of it. But it's a huge loss. I know Dallas Goddard hasn't had a huge season, but it's a major, major loss if Dallas Goddard is gone for a long period of time. And a broken forearm can be one of those injuries that could be gone for a very long time. Meme of the month. Dak upside down? And again, luckily, it's a meme of the month. It's funny because he got up and walked away. Rashad Penny got in for 2 touches at him. Yes, he did. 2 whole rushes for good old Rashad Penny. Um, and I guess a good heads up play on that kickoff earlier in the game that went out of bounds. I was ready. I had already typed up the tweet bashing him, and now he. I guess everybody was complimenting him on it, so I just deleted it before I hit send. Um, it was crazy. Come out at halftime, and you go 2 straight plays to Rashad Penny. The first one actually gains, 7 or 8 yards. The second one, he gets shot down. But it's kinda like, "All right, we're gonna see a little Rashad Penny," and then they never used him again the rest of the game, which completely was like, why even try? Like, if you're not gonna give him a real opportunity, why even give him those 2 plays to start the second half? Unless, like, DeAndre Swift was still in the locker room taking a never mind. Anyway, you know what I mean. Anyway, the offense looked very good at times yesterday. Obviously, everyone's going to talk about the Dallas Goddard injury, but I'm still going to talk about the Jalen Hurts knee. Obviously, he took a really bad hit to the knee towards the end of the first half. We all held our breath. Can't believe he got up and walked away from that. First and foremost, where was the penalty? We protect our quarterback so much in the NFL. Jalen Hurts gets hit around the knees and then gets spiked down because they don't blow the play dead. The one thing I noticed a lot yesterday, the refs, it's kind of annoying sometimes, but you got to be consistent with it. The refs in football, when they blow plays dead when the momentum is stopped on a play, kind of protect the players so you don't have more people coming in for late hits. But they let them go a lot last night. The extracurricular activity towards the end of plays, and on that Jalen Hurts hit, that could have easily been blown dead. It wasn't blown dead, and then Micah Parsons spiked Jalen Hurts down after he'd already taken a hard hit to the knee. It didn't sit right with me. I met the Lord Savior a few times last night. Yeah, over under 5 heart attacks last. We'll set the over under on 5.5 heart attacks. It was a nail biter, Marshawn. We knew that. Well, I knew that. A lot of you guys were predicting big victories on Friday. I predicted a 1 point victory on Friday. But yeah, I mean, between the touchdown that was an inch away from happening, but it was a great tackle by Blankenship. Whether it was Dak Prescott stepping out the 2 on the 2 point conversion, hell, CeeDee Lamb's catch at the end of the game, I thought he was gonna break a tackle and get into the end zone there. Like, I really did. That's just the way it is. Reed Blankenship made a touchdown saving tackle. He also got beat up a lot at him throughout the game. I'm not gonna lie. Reed Blankenship made one of the tackles of the game, but he also gave up quite a few big plays throughout the game. But the play when it matters most is all that matters, right? He made the saving tackle there. Big deal. Cowboys fans and defenders walked away feeling encouraged and was blaming the refs. Look, the refs called a lot. Both teams had 10 penalties yesterday, Marshawn. So it wasn't like they were just calling penalties against Dallas. We had 10 penalties against us as well. So you know, let's let's call it what it is. You know what I mean? So the refs had a very inconsistent game. They let a lot of stuff slide, but then they also called a lot of ticky tack fouls on both sides of the ball. So Dallas fans could be encouraged. They went toe to toe with the best team in the NFL. They came up a little short because they're not quite as good as the best team in the NFL. But Dallas Cowboys fans, you can hang your head high that you almost won because you didn't win. That was a good game right up until the fourth quarter, where both teams looked like either wanted. Yeah, I get that, Duck. Actually, that's a very interesting point. Like it looked like neither team really was fighting for it. Like no team really wanted to give that little extra. And then the Eagles defense then at the end decided to buck up and really make some plays when it matters. I don't think enough can be said about Brandon Graham coming up with two big sacks late in the game. Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat had close to 20 combined pressures on Dak Prescott throughout the game. Came up with some big plays in the game. A lot of pressure on Dak Prescott yesterday. I had Birds winning 44-6. Yeah, I think you were just a little bit off on that score prediction, but you got the final part correct. Eagles win, and that's all that matters. Eagles win, whether they win 44-6 or 14-13. A win is a win. How about Dak stepping out of bounds? Yes, on the 2-yard line. Um, I mean, that was a big play. That changes that last drive for the Dallas Cowboys where they had to try to force a touchdown to win the game. All they would have had to done is kick a field goal to go into extra or overtime if he doesn't step out there. So yeah. Now CD was not breaking 4 tackles. Are you sure you had 110% confidence in that, K1? Because it looked like one of the cornerbacks that were there kind of slipped, and then that's when he went to turn. Then everybody swarmed him. I was there was about a 3 or 4% part of my mind that said that something bad was going to happen on that for sure. But that's just me. The only thing I know about our defense is that we show up when the game is on the line. Other than that, our defense is inconsistent. Absolutely. And Marshawn, this is a big one right here. The defense is very, very, very inconsistent in the first half. But again, it's like the third out of the last 4 games. We only gave up 6 points in the second half. Our defense tightens up so well in the second half of games. Now, why can't Sean Desai make those adjustments before halftime on the fly? I don't know. But every time he struggles in the first half, he finds a way to make an adjustment, and the defense comes out in the second half and plays better. I think we held, CeeDee Lamb in fairly decent, in check, so to say. I mean, I know he had a 200-yard game, but you kept them out of the end zone, and I think that's what matters most. Um, you know, Eli Ricks putting him on CeeDee Lamb so much early in the game was not smart, and then he made the adjustments as the game went on. James Bradbury looked lost at times, but made big plays at the end of the game when it mattered most. Darius Slay gave up some big chunk plays early in the game, found ways to make big plays late in the game, and that's what I think is that's all that matters, I guess. You don't want to fall behind too far early in the game, but tighten it up when it matters most. A Dallas fan I know didn't blame the refs. He said, "Great game by the Eagles." Dallas, Adam, is that the same Dallas fan that was calling for Trey Lance? 2 days after they traded for him. But anyway, the Eagles are just the better team. They're deeper and more well-rounded of a football team, and they're a better coach team. That's all there is to it. What time did the show start? Right at 8 a.m. As it does every single day, man. Chatter. This ain't nothing new. This ain't nothing new. I just couldn't believe we had Ricks covering CD early. I mean, I'm okay with them. They gave it a shot, K1, but you could tell pretty quickly that it wasn't the right decision, and they stuck with it far, far too long. I got the snap count up here. Defensive snap count. Where is he on here? He played a lot. I don't know why I can't find his name here. Eli Ricks. He played 63% of the snaps on defense. He just wasn't ready for that moment, and you could tell. It's not that his problem was he was stumbling on the double moves far too often. My defensive MVP is Zach Cunningham. That one red zone series where he made all the plays, he's a tackling machine. We've been, really lucky that Zach Cunningham has been so consistent all year long. Is he a great stud linebacker? No, but he makes plays and he makes tackles. And for a guy that was not on a football team 2, 3 weeks into training camp to come in, pick it up, earn a job, and yeah, Zach Cunningham has been very good. Where was he on the box score yesterday? Let me see. How many tackles did he have yesterday? Led the team in tackles 10, one for a loss, had one pass defended. Yeah, Zach Cunningham has been a very good football player this year for the Philadelphia Eagles. Everyone is complaining about the Psy and the defense giving up yards. It's a Fangio defense, just like Gens. There are huge similarities. The Psy is better because he adjusts. Yeah, I don't know anybody that's complaining. We won, so I don't think anybody should be complaining first and foremost. That's first and foremost. No one should complain. We gave up 6 points in the second half of a football game, and it's not the first time we've done that this year. So nobody should be complaining. And they do a lot of bend, don't break, keep the players in front, keep the offense in front of you style. And I know that's frustrating. And I tried to tell people that before the season started, when he was first hired, any Vic Fangio disciple is not going to win over the hearts of Eagles fans on a daily, minute by minute basis. But he does adjust very well, and that was his MO. And he fixed the Eli Ricks mistake as the game went on. Ricks had two dumbass penalties, and he also got burned on 2 plays that I remember specifically, where the CeeDee Lamb planted his foot, Rick stumbled, and that's what it was. He definitely showed his rookie and inexperience yesterday. I'm not ready to pack it in on Eli Ricks. I mean, CeeDee Lamb is one of the best wide receivers in football. There is no doubt about it. So a rookie like Ricks going up against CeeDee Lamb is obviously outmatched, but I see enough positives from him to know that there is an opportunity there for him to get better. The side always has been a second half defense, and that's what we like. Um, we like the ability that he has to admit when where his flaws in his game plan were and make the adjustment. Did you hit any parlays on the game? No, I hit the bonus that there was an anytime touchdown boost. Jalen Hurts to score a touchdown. It was boosted from -110 to +125. Obviously, I smashed that and hit that one. Our secondary got beat up a lot. Dak had a receiver open on the Brandon Graham sack. Our secondary got beat up a lot yesterday. But again, Dak Prescott's a very good quarterback. CeeDee Lamb is one of the best. Jake Ferguson is turning into the next Rob Gronkowski, it seems like. So yeah, we got beat up. They threw for a lot of yards and and whatnot for sure. What's up, Karen? Fly, Eagles, fly. Any victory Monday after an Eagles win over Dallas is just that much sweeter. Good morning, John. Phil, what was it just me or Bradbury really got burned alone and Ricks played poorly? They all played poorly at times, especially in the first half, but they buttoned up and they tightened up. And the second half, they made the adjustments. We started getting home on Dak Prescott a little bit more. Um, we had you saw Dak running a lot in the second half, which means that the coverage was a little bit better in the second half. I think it was a battle though. It definitely was a battle. Some Dallas fan calling for Trey. Oh yeah, we know. Dallas fans can't be happy. That's pretty good value. There's always good value at trending in the AM every single morning. Look, what we got 14, 13 likes on YouTube, 7 on Facebook right now, guys. Let's make sure we're watching, hitting that like button, hitting that share button. Tell everybody to get on in the conversation. Core 12 papers should be reviewed. Bradbury has game hanging by a thread. We really need, really need Braden Robbie to come back from his injury soon. That would solve some of the issues in the secondary. Then you can have Ricks continuing to back up Bradbury and Slay. He was brought here to fix the secondary, and he's been hurt majority of the time. We're going to stick to the secondary here in a few minutes because I got into it with some people about Avante Maddox yesterday as well. But the secondary, I mean, it might come back to haunt us that Howie Roseman didn't bring in another piece of depth in that secondary. Yeah, exactly. Agreed. TMZ's on probation. Man, TMC really upset people by not being here at the start of the show today. Ricks is faster than Bradbury or Slay. They were hoping the speed and the attacks at the line would help. It was a learning experience that will make them better the next few years. And I agree with you on this stuff. I saw the potential in Eli Ricks yesterday. He just showed some. It's basically CeeDee Lamb, a veteran elite wide receiver taking the kid to the woodshed. But you saw parts of what Eli Ricks was trying to do there. That if he works hard, if he's got the work ethic, he is going to be able to learn from that and be better, for sure. And it's a great experience. It's a great thing to be able to have that learning experience and still win the football game, which is huge. Rare, huge penalty by Reddick. Yeah, that was actually very rare. Gracias, K1. How do I win the tickets? What tickets? You want to win tickets? Is there a PSN ticket giveaway? Because I don't know anything about that. Yo, what is up, Drew? I'm exhausted, but a smile. There's always a smile on the face, man, on a victory Monday, and it's even bigger when it's Dallas week. The defense isn't pretty, but it's effective. Absolutely, Duck. Absolutely. Who will Eagles face in the Super Bowl? Bengals or Chiefs? That's funny, man, Chatter. 'Cause I do have a poll running on my Twitter page right now. I said, who scares you in the AFC most? The Chiefs, the Bengals, or the Ravens, or other? And the Chiefs are dominating the poll right now, which is kind of shocking to me because I think I got the Bengals as the best team, even though the record doesn't say it. I got them as the best team in the AFC right now. Right now, there's close to 500 votes. Actually, no, the Ravens have 45% of the votes. The Chiefs have 32. The Bengals have 20%. Almost 500 votes into the poll. And we'll wait till the poll ends tomorrow. Then we'll dive into that part of it. But the Bengals, man, the Bengals are the team that scare me the most. Ricks is not a pressed corner. CD beating him like a rug. He tried. He gave it his best effort. If anyone is not happy about this win, you will never be happy about the Eagles, and you need a proper life assessment. Exactly. You got to be happy. There are things we can discuss, Marshawn, that need to be better for our next game or for this next stretch of games. But beating Dallas, a very good team, the way they did, that you got to be happy. I would prefer a clean game with a definite winning outcome as we start the fourth quarter. Everybody would like that. That's just not the way it is. How many games in the NFL this week came down to the wire, Mark? I mean, that's just the way it is. There's a lot more parity in the NFL than there used to be. The fact that the Eagles are now 8-1 with all the parity in the NFL, the way it plays out, it counts for something. It definitely counts for something. Blankenship has times he looked lost, very, very lost. He was out of position at a lot of times, especially in the first half. Reed Blankenship has not been great this year, but he makes plays when it matters, and he comes up big when it matters at the end of a game. CD is a top tier wide receiver. He will eat. Rick's got bit, and we'll learn. Yeah, I think there's a little. We're K1's on one side, Ducks on the other, but I think we all agree that Rick's got beat by a great player. You know what I mean? That's all it is. Watching game this week and tell me that this season is completely up for grabs. So much sloppy and incomplete play from the Chiefs and Eagles, all the way down to the Pats and Giants. Dude, by the way, Daniel Jones tearing his ACL. You hate to see it. Like honestly, like you really do. You don't want to see anybody ever get hurt. And the Eagles, we're going to get into some of these injuries. There's some injuries on the Eagles too, but there is. But yet the Eagles are the only team that only lost one game. The blank man saved the touchdown and tilt the momentum at a time to our favor. Absolutely. He got beat early in the game. They made the adjustments, and he made the big play when it mattered most. And that's what you gotta love. Gotta love it when they make the play. Don't let the bad plays earlier in the game affect you when the game is on the line. Did Nolan Smith get a tackle yesterday? Dark Barnett, a healthy scratch. I thought I would see an uptick in Nolan Smith's snaps. I think he only played 9 snaps yesterday. Where is he? He played 9 snaps. Actually, it's probably the most he's played all year. 9 snaps on defense for Nolan Smith yesterday. Very interesting. Watch Ravens and Bengals as AFC juggernauts and not the Chiefs and Bills. Bills are definitely not juggernauts, Mark. They have completely fallen apart. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs. The Ravens defense is phenomenal, and they've beaten two very good NFC teams in the Lions, and then this week, who they beat yesterday? Why am I drawing a blank? Seattle, and they beat them both very handily. The problem is in the AFC they haven't done as well. The Bengals started cold because Joe Burrow was hurt and didn't practice, didn't train, but now that they're heating up, watch out for. I just think the Bengals offense. I think the Bengals mimic the Eagles a lot more. They don't have a dominant anything on defense, but their defense makes plays when it matters, and their offense could go toe to toe with anybody. The Bengals would be the team that scares me because of their offense much, much more than the Ravens and Chiefs at this point. So is that the cope from the haters today? Ref ball? Yeah, Cowboys fans are always going to. Most Cowboys fans are going to complain. Adam already said that there's a few that he knows that are just saying, "Good job, great win by the Eagles," which is the way we hope it would be, and the way it should be. Yeah, the Cowboys were in the Super Bowl in 1890 before we were born, right? Exactly. We need actually, you can't really crush Brandon Mann. Brandon Mann had a really good day yesterday. He had a close to 50-yard per punt average. He knocked 2 inside the 20 at key moments. Um, I ain't gonna lie, Brandon Mann was not the problem. Here, I'll pull up the exact numbers here for Brandon Mann, if you wanna crush my man. 5 punts, a 51.8 average, 2 inside the 20. His long was 57. So I don't think we can crush Brandon Mann yesterday. Richard Rodgers available to replace Dallas. We gotta talk about Dallas Goedert going down. He's going to need to be replaced. Also, Nakobe Dean got hurt again yesterday. Jordan Davis and Fletcher Cox got banged up throughout the game. And all these injuries, this is why Keith's comments very important here. We need this bye week. It's so true. We need this bye week so bad right now because this team is banged up massively. 9 out of 10 Bills fans recommend rooting for a different team. Said it before the season, man, chatter. I'll say it now. McDermott is on the hot seat at the end of this year. Man looked better yesterday than he has all season. Agreed, 100%. How many times did we say this should be game when we got the ball back to our offense? Look, Dallas has got a really good defense too. So let's not. They're a very highly rated defense. Ricks isn't much faster. His hips are more fluid. He isn't really suited for inside. He has fluid technique and more suited for outside. That's more technical knowledge than I know. True, but I hear people talk about hips all the time. Um, Miami will meet Miami. MIA. They will meet Miami or Baltimore. We'll see. I guess I'm kind of writing Miami off after another loss this weekend. The Chiefs didn't look good against the Dolphins, but they still won. We didn't look that good against the Cowboys, and we still won. So you got to look at it the same way. We both knew Burrow starts slow and finishes top. Absolutely. What is up, Peter? What do you think we do with Goddard out? Well, I talked about it all offseason, us needing more options at the backup tight end. That Stahl and Calcaterra weren't it. Aqua Bowman, as I like to call him on this show, he's going to have to step up and play, but they're going to roll with Jack Stoll. That's what they did last year. And you got the bye week, luckily, for the Eagles to kind of really think about it. I know Eagles fans are going to be calling for Gronkowski. That's not the answer. But maybe Richard Rodgers. Probably Dan Arnold's probably still out there, and he was here in camp. Something will be done to adjust that. Was Kevin Byard out there last night? He was out there last night. Um, I knew somebody would bring his name up. He looked okay. He didn't look great. He didn't look bad. Look, our secondary gave up a lot of yards yesterday. Love it or hate it, you can't take anything away there. Go Eagles! I knew they would win. I had my gut feeling. I don't think we needed a gut feeling. We knew they were winning no matter what. We knew it. Blankenship stopped that fourth down touchdown and recovered the fumble to end the game. Give him a break, man. He played every snap too. I don't think we're crushing Reed Blankenship. I don't think we're really crushing him. He played a bad first half, as did a lot of Eagles players, and they got better as the game went on. The guy was an undrafted. Is he an Italian American or something like that, Mark? So because you're really defending him way too much. Um, we finished with Arizona and 2 games with Giants. That's 11 wins, even if we don't win a single one of those 5 murder rows. Okay, well, that's so true. So true right there. So true. Second week in a row, the blank man rung the bell when Commissioner Gordon called for him. I love the way you phrased that. I glanced at the comment before reading it. I saw commissioner. I was like, "Uh-oh, what are you going to say about the NFL commissioner? How are you bringing that in?" But yeah, Joe Burrow is that dude for real. He is really the dude. Ravens used the running game yesterday. They did very effectively. I watched a lot of that game. Is it just me, or does Blankenship play okay or get burnt, but always has those ESPN moments? He's a boom bust player, Blankenship. He's going to make a lot of big plays, and he's going to miss a lot of big plays every game. He's not a solid safety. He's a great safety that gets burned a lot. And you have to hope that the big moments don't lead. You know, you got to hope that the bad moments don't come back to bite you at the wrong time. You didn't say fam. I thought our opinions matter, Phil. Everyone's opinions matter. Everyone's opinions matter here on Trending in the AM. So make sure you hit those like buttons and keep the comments coming. I'm trying to get caught up. There's a lot, but we got 18 likes on YouTube now, 8 on Facebook. Pound that like button for me. Slay is hurt, and you could tell. Yeah, I mean, Darius Slay and James Bradbury need this bye week, without a doubt. But Slay for sure. Not addressing the Avonte Maddox injury before the season started, or early in the season, is coming back to bite them a little bit more. I know Robbie was supposed to be that, but then he goes down. Yeah, I don't say fam till Eric shows up. Right, right. Is Howie going to give Gronk a call if there's ever a time to go all in on a free agent? Am I right? That would be entertaining. At least we'd see him do less AA or Army insurance commercials. He does have his favorites. I don't play favorites. Wonder what Jeff Thomason is up to. Yeah. Where's Brent Selleck when you need him? People forget how he traded for a young cornerback from the Colts who was suspended this year. No, I know that he got Isaiah Rodgers, but that doesn't help him this year. That's for future. That's for next year, maybe if he's freed up. I think Calcaterra will be better with more steps. He's got to get over the concussion thing first. His blocking is perhaps getting better, but not as good as Stoll. Yeah, Stoll just can't stretch the field like Dallas Goedert. It's really weird though, because when we lose Lane Johnson, we tend to lose a lot of games. The 5 games, I forget, don't quote me on this, Duck, but last year the 5 games that Dallas Goedert missed, I think we were 4-1 in those games. So we found a way to get by. And with AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, maybe you see a bigger role for Julio Jones going down here with Dallas Goedert. We'll see, but they got to bring in somebody else. You can't run with Stoll, Calcaterra, and Alberto. I can't trust my gut. I'm lactose intolerant. Oh man, what's up with Kelsey getting a drug test after the game? I did not see that. That is interesting. I thought Calcaterra was in the injury report, concussion. Yeah, he did not play this week. He has a concussion, and he has a concussion history in college as well. I heard that. That's right. I hope Olsen doesn't do any Eagles games. I'm so biased. Yeah, they weren't bad. They weren't bad. The announcers, they weren't great, but they weren't bad. Calcaterra has a history of concussions going back to Nebraska. Yes, exactly. Our reaction Monday, did the Eagles just win the NFC East? They did. They did. They got a 2.5 game in the NFC East now, Kyle. They are back-to-back NFC East champions. Just lock it up right now. Robbie will be good after the bye week. I hope so. We need Brady and Robbie to be back, and we need them to play well. We really do. The blank man isn't CJ, GJ, but he is a big moment safety without a shadow of a doubt. Yes, don't steal my lines. Maddox and McPherson injury, I think they were high on McPherson. They were. They were. So, but Maddox is hurt often. Dallas Goedert's hurt often. Guys that we knew had injury prone issues are hurt again for this team. So, and Nakobe Dean hurt again. He just comes back from an injury. He's banged up and missed the second half of the game for the most part. So we really got to clean up finding these injured players and try to find ways to keep them healthy. We really do. I see Tony Gonzalez gives a few series. Sure, I'll take Tony Gonzalez back. Why not? How do you think Steen played overall? That's a fair question. I think that there were a few plays I saw he gave up some pressures, but for the most part, he played really well. Saw him blocking very well. He recovered a big fumble, big moment there on that fumble late in the game. So Tyler Steen played well. He played better than Sua Opeta would have in that situation. I think Sua Opeta is now so far down the depth charts, especially if Cam Jurgens comes back after the bye. Now Sua Opeta is way down the depth chart. It's Tyler Steen has surpassed him for sure in that position. Now it's like, what do you do? Cam Jurgens is supposed to be Kelsey's replacement next year. Tyler Steen needs the reps. You go with Cam Jurgens, but he did play very well, Steen, yesterday. Kelsey got the drug test because he's an Eagle and got aggressive with a player, and the NFL just loves spot checking Eagles because yeah, exactly. And there's more push success. Let's find anything we can to do that, but whatever. I don't worry about it. Steen was solid. Yes, I agree. Steen was very solid yesterday. Steen saved us the game with the fumble recovery for sure. We didn't have any official turnovers yesterday, did we? I don't think we did. I don't think we had any fumbles lost. No, and he obviously didn't throw a pick yesterday, Jalen Hurts. But we still were a little loosey goosey with the football yesterday. We did have a couple fumbles. We just recovered them. The Eagles have to do a better job. You always see videos from practice about ball control and ball security. And how Nick Sirianni preaches protecting the football so often, but yet they're just so sloppy with it. They got to do better with the football. They got to. At least Swift has made it to the bye, which I didn't expect. Yeah, I mean, DeAndre Swift looks good, man. There are quite a few players. We've talked about all the injuries, but there are quite a few injury-prone players that haven't gotten hurt, like Swift or like Zach Cunningham. So at least we got that working for us. There was a Penny sighting, by the way, and I still don't understand why they used him for the first two plays out of the half, and then didn't send him the ball again at all. Low key star of the game, Brandon Mann, 5 punts. I already said it. Brandon Mann had a fantastic a game as a punter. Two balls inside the 20, a very good punt average. I think his net was like 48, so that's really good as well. Our special teams coverage teams on kicks there and punts had some hiccups, so we got to clean that up during the bye week. But special teams as a whole was not that bad. Man's final punt was clutch, absolutely. Pinning that down there, they were just saying punt it right into the end zone, and he tried, and it just stuck, man. It was very good there. With the Browns' sweet block into Swift. Dude, I cannot believe DeAndre Swift did not get a concussion on that. There was some bad timing on that play. I know exactly what you're talking about, Duck. And if you really watch it in slow motion, you see DeAndre Swift's head like whiplash, big time. So I'm shocked that Swift was able to get up from that. I mean, AJ Brown is a pretty big man, and he ran square into his shoulder. I don't know who was at fault there, whether Jalen snapped the ball too soon or whether AJ Brown was lagging on the motion there. But that kind of sucked. Yeah, it was a straight TKO. At least I thought it was. But he got up from the 10 count. So that's good. Penny had two snaps on O and five on special teams and disappeared. Yeah, two plays, the first two plays of the second half, and then you didn't see him again. Um, he was also the kick returner with Scott out for personal reasons. Penny looked okay. Do they just not want to invest snaps on him? It's hard. What snaps are you going to give him? Are you going to take every time we take a snap away from Swift to give it to Gainwell? Everybody complains. Where are you going to take snaps away? You can't take snaps away from Swift or Gainwell at this moment. And Kenneth Gainwell had a very good game. I didn't see him miss any blocking assignments on blitzes. He had obviously the big touchdown run, which was a great run, hitting that hole. Jason Kelsey had a great, pull block on that one. So there's just no room for Rashad Penny right now. So he's a depth piece. Sat my man's down. Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious as well what's going on with Penny. I don't think I don't think people understand. Like Penny, it's nothing against Rashad Penny. There's just only so many snaps to go around. DeAndre Swift is proven to be one of the best backs in the NFL this year. They love Kenneth Gainwell, and Kenneth Gainwell had a very good bounce back game. You look at it. I got the snap count up here. Rashad Penny played the two snaps. Gainwell was 23 snaps, and Swift was 40. So there's only 62 offensive snaps, and you had Gainwell and Swift on the field a couple times together, and one of the times it was a very effective play. I don't know if anybody knows. Talking about Penny made me remember that. I loved seeing the Gainwell Swift backfield at the same time. And you saw Gainwell do a really nice block that sprung Swift for a very positive play. I would love, love, love to see more dual running back sets like that to confuse defenses. But Rashad Penny's just depth right now. Oh, there it is. K1 saying the same thing. Exactly. Rashad Penny's he was brought here to be the guy. Then DeAndre Swift became available. So we upgraded Penny right away to Swift. And Penny's just the fourth guy. That's it. I don't think, and if Boston Scott's back in 2 weeks after the bye, Penny will be inactive again. Penny is just a depth piece. That's all there is to it. And you can have much. We see so many other positions. We're worried about the depth behind Dallas Goedert with that injury. We worry about injuries to Slay and Bradbury because of depth at cornerback. You've got somebody actually at a position if somebody would go down like Swift or Penny or Swift or Gainwell, you've got a guy to step in, and you wouldn't lose a beat. That's all it is, plain and simple. AJ Brown is the man. Is made of steel. That's why I don't believe. I can't believe DeAndre Swift didn't get like completely knocked out on that. Swift almost got knocked out. Exactly. How he did not, I have no idea. Go watch the replay of that again. He took a hit. Too many snaps for Swift when you have Gainwell and Penny. How is 40 snaps too much for DeAndre Swift? Like, I don't agree with that. I think you need, if anything, you need more snaps for DeAndre Swift. It's not like he's running the ball that much because they pass so much. I mean, he ran the ball 18 times yesterday. That's it. You threw the ball 20. They definitely ran the ball more than they normally do. 33 runs to 23 passes. But you're not going to really take too much more away from them. You really can't. Do I like having Jalen Hurts with 10 rushes? No. And we really haven't talked too much about Jalen Hurts yet. But Jalen Hurts had a really big game yesterday. And we'll catch up on these comments and we'll swing to some Jalen Hurts talk. Swift is a vase ready to be dropped and broken. And that is why you've got Rashad Penny. You run Swift while you can. And then when the wheels fall off, then you go to Penny. Um, Rage quitting the Bills. Penny is insurance. Exactly, Jason. And may come in clutch this postseason. Exactly. Keep his legs fresh till you need them. Hang in there, team. No, no. We love to say it. We do. Howie was not looking to invest in free agent running back that he literally signed someone named Penny to emphasize it. Exactly. I love that. And you should knowing full well you'll be back. Fans always come back. Look, being a sports fan, it's like an addiction. It really is. Who is stepping in after the bye week? Alberto. Yeah, Alberto. You'll have a little bit of him. You'll have a little bit of Calcaterra if he's healthy. And they showed last year, Davon, that when Goddard went down last year, they just rolled with more Jack Stoll, which is crazy because Jack Stoll cannot stretch the field. But I think Calcaterra in the 5 games that Goddard missed had 1 catch. I'm just winging that, but that I think it was one big 40+ yard catch, and that was it. Swift should get more snaps than a poetry slam. I don't know how to spell his name. It's according to this show, it's Aqua Bowman. That's it. Just say Aqua Bowman. You just got to watch enough shows to know what that even means. But let's move this conversation a little bit here. We got 32 people watching right now. Only 18 likes on Facebook or YouTube. We're up to 10 likes on Facebook. Make sure you hit that like button and share button. I'd greatly appreciate it. But yeah, let's talk a little Jalen Hurts here. Um, Hold on. What is this say? The Sixers reeled me back in. Yeah, dude, the Sixers just threw that fishing line in and reeled us all back in with some really great play over the last week of the season. Um, Jalen Hurts, I really got to talk about it. Yeah, perfect. Aqua Bowman, it is. Basically, Davon, what happened was when they traded for him, I tried to pronounce his name on this show. I'm terrible at pronouncing names. And supposedly, according to everyone else, I've never gone back to check footage. Supposedly, I said Aqua Bowman as his name. I don't know. I don't believe them, but that's where the Aqua Bowman came from. I do know I pronounce names very poorly. But anyway, uh, we've got a lot of hurt players, a lot of banged up players right now. Obviously, Goddard and N'Kobe Dean, the 2 big names that get hurt on Sunday night. But Jalen Hurts, man, this bye week, you got footage, K1? Prove me. Show me the footage. You go back and clip it. Um, Jalen Hurts in that knee, man. First and foremost, the toughness of Jalen Hurts. I mean, that hit he took with no flag being called when he got hit low before halftime, and then got spiked down because they didn't blow the play dead. I thought the end of the world. I know everybody else thought the world was coming to an end there. I mean, he limped so badly to the sideline. They called a timeout, and then he went right back out there. But then he came out in the second half, first drive, rushes for a first down, just to kind of prove that his knee's fine. First and foremost, before we talk about his play on the field, the leadership and toughness of Jalen Hurts, man. Most quarterbacks, their knee gets hurt that bad and is in that much pain, they're sitting. Not Jalen Hurts. And he said after the game, whatever I got to do to win for this team and this city, that's what I'm going to do. So before we even talk about the play on the field, the toughness of Jalen Hurts, I don't think anybody can ever question that ever again. And the fact that, his leadership ability out there, I mean, the guy just does whatever it takes to win every single game. And then yesterday was just another one of those games where I was just so proud to have Jalen Hurts as my quarterback. I really was. Jalen is 12-0 against teams with a winning record. That's a wild stat because he's not loud about it. Absolutely, Marshawn. His win-loss record in big games in the regular season, at least. Obviously, he's got the loss in the Super Bowl. But he's a big game hunter. He thrives Under adversity, he thrives under the spotlight. He thrives when everybody doubts him. And there's no doubt about it, and I just love it. Absolutely love it. Phil Okwaway. I think it's how I don't know. I do know the NFL Fox. One of the guys, either the lead guy or Olsen, nailed it yesterday when they pronounced it. Uh, Phil's Aqua Bowman penalty is just review. Yeah, with the commercials with the red flags. The insurance commercials with the red flags. I'm throwing the flag on this one, the challenge flag, for sure. I need the review. Bring it out. Somebody's got to find it. I don't even remember which show it was on. So, challenge flag has been dropped. It has been. Prove it. Prove it. Prove it. I want proof. We got a whole bye week to find proof. So go find proof. I want to see it. Jalen Hurts might be the strongest athlete to play quarterback in a generation. Strongest physically and strongest mentally. Because let's be honest, the mental aspect of beating the Cowboys in a tough, hard fought game like that is immense. The mental toughness that you have to do to have that mental to be mentally tough and beat the Cowboys. On top of that, mentally be able to block out the pain that he's obviously in with the knee is even more. So he's dual mentally tough to handle the adversity, mentally tough to handle the physical pain that he was in, and do it well. Seen a few dirty hits, but I screamed when Bayer got the penalty on their failed tush push. Yeah, look, Bayer was wrong, but it should have been offsetting penalties because both should have gotten flagged for one. The Dallas guy, I forget who the Dallas guy was. Both should have gotten flagged for that play. That's my opinion. But yeah, like they were letting and David, I don't know if anybody else noticed it. I've already mentioned it a few times. They were letting a lot of scrums happen yesterday, like a lot of pushing and shoving. They didn't blow plays dead as quickly as I thought they would. And the play that Jalen got hit in the knee, he was obviously giving himself up, but he didn't fall down. And they should have blown that play dead. They didn't. And then he got spiked down by, I believe, Micah Parsons there. So, the refs were really weird. For a game that there was 20 accepted penalties, 10 from both the Eagles and the Cowboys, they did let a lot of physical stuff go as well, which was shocking. You would think a high penalty game, it would have been a really nitpicky game, but it wasn't. It would be a flagrant 2 if Tony Brothers is out there reffing. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Jalen Hurts isn't loud about anything, and that's what I love about him. Exactly. He leaves it on the field. He shows it on the field. He proves it on the field. He doesn't worry about the outside noise one bit. He went into Sirianni's office to get the IV put in and then walked the F around to talk to players. He helped Mailata get out of his head. Yeah, I mean, that's a leader right there. That is a leader. I love that he goes to Sirianni's office to get his IV. It's like him and Sirianni are there while everybody else. Something about him and Sirianni's office getting the IV. Um, I don't know. Something about that. I just love it. The two of them are so closely attached there. Reminds me of Doc Holliday for real. Like Doc, dude is a machine. He just plays without bringing attention to himself. Absolutely. Let's just hope he has a longer career here in Philly than Mr. Roy Halladay, for sure. Jalen drank Michael Jordan's secret stuff at halftime. Yeah, he pulled a Paul Pierce, get carried off the court. I know you remember what I'm talking about. And then Paul Pierce comes running out of the locker room after being carried off the court. That's basically what happened there. They didn't call a single Dallas offensive line holding all game. They called a few on us. Yeah, they still had 10 penalties against Dallas though. So Dallas can't. I know Dallas fans are complaining about penalties. Eagles fans might be. I'm not complaining about the refs game. I'm just complaining about them and how they didn't blow plays dead. And I tweeted out halfway through the game like, it's Eagles Dallas, huge rivalry game, lots of bitter hatred between the two teams. You let those scrums go more and more, then all of a sudden, potentially a fight could break out or a cheap shot could be had. So I wanted the rest to try to control the game a little bit more so that nothing bad happened. Buyer person foul was really bad. However, I liked Sirianni challenge too. It was a post play foul. Yeah, I get that. We almost killed ourselves with the lack of that timeout there late in the game. But for the most part, I get what you're saying. Both Bayard and whoever the Cowboy were wrong. Yes, Julio was on the field a lot more than you realize. I don't think he had a catch, did he? He didn't even have a target yesterday, but he was on the field um, for 19 snaps yesterday. So Zacchaeus, whatever, had 6 snaps and had that one big first down catch, and Julio Jones had 19 snaps. I saw him out there blocking. I saw him out there doing a lot. So Julio, everyone's who's going to fill the void left by Dallas Goddard. Julio Jones is not a tight end, but some of those targets to Dallas Goddard in those type of plays, Julio Jones is a big-bodied guy. He can run some similar routes to Dallas Goddard. That might be your quote unquote replacement for Dallas Goddard while he misses 4 or 5 weeks or whatever it'll turn out to be. Uh, we got whatever Mahomes got during the Super Bowl. Yeah, maybe. Can we take a moment to appreciate that touchdown pass and catch the slim? Uh, I said it before. I said it as soon as it happened. The concentration that it took in that and the dime that Jalen Hurts had a freaking broken freaking knee and he threw a dime to Devontae Smith. There was also a play, K1, that Devontae Smith caught a ball falling out of bounds, and it wasn't a catch because he didn't get 2 feet in. He may have bobbled the ball a little bit too high. Devontae Smith, I mean, he's going to. I know I stirred some pots a little bit earlier in the offseason saying Smith would be better than Brown by the year's end. Obviously, that was wrong. Um, but because of A.J. Brown's having such a great season, let's just say, I mean, I think he's already over 1,000 yards receiving, A.J. Brown, I think. Um, I think Devontae Smith is going unnoticed, and he had a couple drops this year and whatnot. But man, Devontae Smith isn't getting the credit he deserves for how damn good he really is right now. Um, there are a lot of pop ups on that site. Yes, I know what you're talking about. Morrow got penalty for getting his face mask grabbed. I feel that I think face masks in general, Duck. I don't know if you can review them per se. Once you start reviewing penalties, we already tried that with reviewing pass interference. It's really hard. I do think face masks should have the two different levels, the personal foul and just the 5 yarder like they used to. But it's hard. You can't review every single thing. Maybe if anything, you could just review personal fouls. I don't know. It's a tough one. Yeah, Bill's got Linval Joseph. I did see him make one play. So he's off the board for the Eagles. Everyone hates the brotherly shove, but they try. Exactly. And it's not the brotherly shove. It will remain the tush push coming from me forever. I will not change. I will always say brotherly tush push is greater than brotherly shove. 2 weeks in a row, and Hurts threw two just legendary touchdown passes. Absolutely. Um, AJ Brown is a cheat code. There is something to that as well. Cowboys fans need to, yeah, about these refs. They had the field split in half with the PI on Bradbury and roughing the passer on the final drive. I think it was a pass interference on Bradbury there. I do. On the final drive, Eagles gave them and the personal foul roughing the passer. Look, Reddick knew it. I mean, he hit him late. It wasn't a hard hit. He tried to pull up, but he hit him. So they were both fair penalties called. Um, but yeah, they couldn't win. Look, I got a message from somebody about it. Um, how did the Eagles or how did the Cowboys not win that game, or how did the Eagles win that game? And I responded to him very simply: great teams find ways to win games that are close like that. Good teams lose on the road because Dallas is a good team. They were on the road in an adversity moment and they lost. A great team finds a way to win it. What's it? What's Jalen Hurts 12-0? We said against winning teams. Great players and great teams find ways to win. So I'm not blaming the refs. I'm not blaming anybody for anything. Dallas Cowboys fans are going to say what they say. They are what they are. But great teams find ways to win, and the Eagles are a great team, and they proved that yesterday, finding a way to win. Smith will get a lot of focus is on AJ right now. Absolutely. He'll get his. He will. He will. Um, is Joseph good? Joseph is old. There's a reason why he wasn't on anybody's team. He provided a little punch for us when we had some injuries last year, and he's a solid guy, but he's not going to be the difference maker. That's all. Morrow got his face mask pulled and thrown to the ground after the whistle was blown. It should have at least been reviewed for a fine. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I just the more and more you review, the harder it gets. I don't know how you. I guess college they review personal fouls and stuff like that all the time. I don't know how you make what rule you change and where what they could do. Um, Maybe it's just personal fouls can be reviewed, and reviews shouldn't really take as long as they do. Duck, you should be able to review a play like that and just have you know people buzzing down. You know what I mean? It should just be it's already being looked at before you even put the headset on as the ref. So I don't know. There's got to be a better way to it. It is brotherly shove beyond a shadow of a doubt. Well, without a shadow of a doubt, I am going to. I say everybody's opinion matters, except for when the title of this. It's called the tush push, and not the butt crack scratch like Peanut likes to call it. Um, Dallas fans seething. And look, I get a Dallas fans being mad. I mean, their team was this close last night. They were so close to winning that game, and we'd feel the same way today if the Eagles lost a close game like that. And we'd be finding ways and who to blame and whatnot because the overreaction frustration of losing that game, it's tough. That was a hard fought game, a nail biter of a game, as I thought it would be, between two very good teams that both teams have Super Bowl aspirations. Now, one is elite, one is just very good. One should make the Super Bowl, one would have to go on a legendary run to get to the Super Bowl. There is just a different level of talent. If you looked across that game yesterday, we did not play a great game, but just the talent across the board. They have CeeDee Lamb, but we got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. They have Tony Pollard. We have DeAndre Swift, Kenneth Gainwell, and Rashad Penny in the wings. They have Dak Prescott, but we got Jalen Hurts. Our offensive line. Just though they might have Tyron Smith, all pro left tackle, but we got the best line in football. Which we do have to talk about the offensive line a little bit too, because you know they still give up one too many pass protection issues there. They really still got to clean up the pass protections. I want to look at this real quick. Hurts was sacked 3 times, but he was hit 4 times. I wish ESPN box score had pressures. I know we pressured Dak Prescott a lot, but I feel like Jalen Hurts did get pressured a lot more than he should have, and the offensive line's got to do a better job pass protecting for him, without a doubt. I love how fast the reviews are now. It used to take ages. Well, I think that they could review more plays more regularly if they had an even faster process. But yes, they do get pretty done pretty quickly. I mean, you did see one of the reviews. Was it the touchdown that Reed Blankenship held the guy out of the end zone on? Um, the review was over and already announced before we came back from commercial break. That's how quickly they reviewed that. McCarthy could have gone for it on 4th and 3 at our 33 with more than 1 minute left in the first half. He kicked the field goal. Stop whining, cowgirls. I get it. I get it. They cry too much, but they also lost a hard, nail biting close game. So we would be in the same boat criticizing every decision that was made if we would have lost that game. Dak needs a new team. He will never win anything in Dallas. Duck, you've been watching this show long enough to know. I've been saying that for a long time, and I'm a Dak. Dak showed some a little bit yesterday. He took a big hit, almost broke his neck, and he kicked and popped right up. Um, Dak is not Jalen Hurts clutch, but he's a really good quarterback. Um, he just, I mean, you look at Dallas. I mean, we couldn't stop CeeDee Lamb. We kept him out of the end zone though. That's all that matters. But they only got Michael Gallup and Turpin and Cooks. It's not like they've built a great wide receiver team, and their offensive line outside Tyrone Smith just couldn't keep the pressure off him. I know we only had a few sacks. What do we have? 5 sacks yesterday? 5 sacks. But we had a lot of pressure on him. It was close. I think we had close to 20 pressures just from Reddick and Sweat alone. Let's see who had sacks yesterday. Sweat had 1 sack. Dean had a half a sack. Reddick has 1. BG only got 1.5, not 2. He gave up half of that to Jalen Carter. And then you had Fletcher Cox half a sack on the Nakobe Dean one as well. But we got a lot of pressure. So Dallas, as long as Jerry Jones is running, Dallas is never going to be good because their focus is spending big money at the wrong positions. And you would have thought by this point that Howie Roseman and the Eagles' philosophy would have caught on to more teams in the NFL. I hope it never catches on. But the build from within, build from the trenches, build the offense and defensive line, and then move from there. You would think more teams would adopt that, but they don't. The offensive line did get better in the second half. They did, without a doubt. Sirianni would have gone for it. That's my point. I get it. Look, the Eagles went for it right from the get-go yesterday. They went for it on a tush push. They were inside their 35, and they went for a tush push on the first drive of the game for the Eagles. Got it. And then it was near midfield, and it was 4th and 2, 4th and 3 on that drive. And I think that was who got that first down? Was that the Zacchaeus catch, or I forget who caught that first down pass? But the Eagles, Nick Sirianni is an aggressive guy, but it's aggressiveness. It's selective aggressiveness, and what I mean is like the tush push when it's a yard, you go for it. There's no, you just go for it every time. But knowing your team, having the confidence of your team to pick up 2 or 3 yards on 4th down around midfield. I mean, that helps your offense because it's the coach is telling you, "I'm confident in you, confident in you." You want a hard break? Oh, it's 9 o'clock. Thanks for letting me know. It's 9 o'clock. Okay, it's 9 a.m. It's time for the reset. Let's reset the show here. Trending in the AM on Philadelphia Sports Network. I am Phil Stiefel. Make sure you hit the like button. We got 19 likes on YouTube, 10 on Facebook. Hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe. It's the only way to continue help growing this show. It helps me out greatly, helps the algorithm out greatly, and it's free to do it. And you can follow me on all social media platforms at Beard of Knowledge. We're talking Eagles. Huge victory. And honestly, I don't think we can really understate how big of a victory it was. And we're going to get right back to the comments here in a second. But it was a huge victory. It was a really, really huge victory. Some fans are criticizing the Eagles after this win. We see one idiot who wanted to fire Sirianni. I saw somebody say fire Johnson at halftime of the game. They went to Saigon. Some people just prefer to be negative. They just do. 9 a.m. break time. We always got to get a 9 a.m. break time. I don't even know why I do it. I mean, that's what they do on the radio, and I'm preparing myself for that big radio career down the line. The resets around the top of the hour all the time. K1, we need to keep this voice of reason in sports radio. And that's the thing. Like we talk about, we criticize the dial, and we criticize it. What we criticize is the fact that the media, current form of media, promotes the negativity, and because that draws in more interest. That's why I need to be on the radio to change the perception of what it is. The bowels of misery. My goal is to change that perception, to give people a positive outlook at all times. We have to do all the work around here. You guys are always working hard. I do no work around here. Nothing. I do none of the work here. Not at all. I saw a stat before we went live. Jalen Hurts, as we continue to talk about Jalen Hurts and how big a deal it really was yesterday for the way Jalen Hurts played. I know he only passed 23 times yesterday, but he cleaned up the turnovers. He completed 17 of his 23 passes, 200 plus yards, 2 touchdowns. And he is now only the 5th quarterback to ever have a stretch ever in their career, not at this point of the career ever, to go 25-2 in a stretch of games in their career in the regular season. Only the 5th quarterback. One was Jim McMahon, legendary Bears quarterback, and the other 3 are Hall of Famers: Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Joe Montana. So Jalen Hurts has put himself in the winning category with Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, and Jim McMahon, and now Jalen Hurts. I think that's a massive thing. It's a massive, massive deal right there. And again, we talk about Jalen Hurts all the time, and we're always hyping up Jalen Hurts on this show. But at what point, like, what else does Jalen Hurts have to do to change that narrative from the national media? Because I'm sure somebody out there, Dan Sillyman or Chris Simpleton or one of them, will go out there and have something negative. I see the comment coming in as my thought is already formulated. You got people like Seth Joyner out there, and the thing is, like, he works for Jacob Media, so does Dan Sileo. Seth Joyner, you just beat the Dallas Cowboys in a fought nailed, but I didn't go back and watch it, but I just saw people calling him out. There was even an article written on Crossing Broad about Seth Joyner being negative again. Seth Joyner just loves to be negative because the negative sells, the criticism sells. It draws the people that are negative in, but it also pisses off the positive people like us. Like, there are things from yesterday's game that we could be critical of and discuss, but you just beat the Cowboys in a hard-fought game and got yourself to 8-1 on the season and a 2.5 game division lead 9 weeks into the season. While you can criticize certain things, To be negative and ultra negative, it's just unnecessary. It just proves that you're curmudgeon, plain and simple. And that's what's wrong with media these days. And that's what I want to change here on Trending in the AM. The positive. Let's keep it positive and productive. The conversation's positive, productive, and making fun of me and my bad job at pronunciating Aqua Bowman. Seth is a snappy dresser. I don't really care if he's a snappy dresser. That does nothing for me. Being a snappy dresser just means you got some money to get some good suits. Mark was making fun of my suit game last night. I used to shop at Men's Warehouse. Those $200 suits. You like the way you dress. I guarantee it, or whatever the guy used to say. Just want to be positive. Look, it's okay to be negative when it's warranted. And the tone of today's show might be more negative if we didn't win the game last night. But guess what? We did win the game last night. We did make the plays when they mattered most. The Dallas Cowboys did not make the plays when they mattered most. So it's very important to realize that. So the Seth Joyner negativity, I mean, it's just unnecessary. Seth Joyner is a large human being that feels slighted that he isn't a defensive coordinator in this league and takes. Mark, I don't disagree. I think Seth Joyner wants to be a defensive coordinator. He's asked to be the Eagles' defensive coordinator on multiple occasions, and they've turned him down. He is just a very grumpy, bitter man. And he's one of the great linebackers in Eagles history. I mean, he's part of the Mean Green. Him, Byron Evans, Willie T. I mean, made up one of the best linebacker cores in the history of Eagles. They never won a Super Bowl, never won a playoff game, but that's a different story. He's bitter. I really, truly think he is. And that's the problem. You know, you got all these sites like the main radio dials, and you got Jacob Media, and now the All City Sports Philly team. And they're supposed to be alternatives, but they just follow the same process that the dial follows. Controversy sells. That's why I struggle to get views, because I don't do the controversy thing. I try to keep it as open minded as possible on this show. But Seth Joyner, it's got to be negative. That's a shame. Seth was a great player and he dresses well, but he's a terrible post game show live analyst because all he wants to do is be negative. I'm not plugging them. I'm calling them out. I'm calling them out. I called out all the media guys, Mark, on this show. The Dial, WIP, The Fanatic, Cilio, Joyner, any of them. I'll call them all out. I'm not plugging any of them. I'm just going to call them out for what it is. You know? Weak. So what else did we learn about the NFL this week? So the Eagles are clearly the number one team, right? I think we can agree. We do have the Chargers and the Jets tonight on Monday Night Football. We're going to learn about the Jets a lot. Their defense is stout, but whatever. But I want to pull up the rest of the scores too, because Seth Joyner will have this D-back core pressing all game because Buddy Ryan did it during his day. But that's just not how you win in the NFL. Pressing all game long doesn't win. Hence, if you look at it, and Marshawn, I'm not saying you're the one saying this. You know, the way that the NFL was run back in the 80s and 90s is not how it runs now. There's a reason why the best teams right now don't play press coverage every single play. Now, they did at times when the moment warranted yesterday, but they also played off when the moment warranted. Seth would be negative if the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Yeah, he would find a way to bring something negative into the Super Bowl victory. Because that's what he does. It's underwritten by a casino. What else do you need to know? Well, I didn't know that, but I know they have money, big money backing them. Just like the other one, the All City one, has big money, and they're always hiring somebody new and bigger. I'm with you, Phil. But that's what Seth thinks will help this team, and he's just wrong. And I agree with you. You know, I've been saying it for a while. Everybody keeps saying, why don't we press? Why don't we press? Yeah, I don't want my defensive backs on 3rd and 17 playing 20 yards off the line of scrimmage. But it's all about the bend don't break. Keep everybody in front of you. Make the big play when necessary. Get the big turnover, big sack when necessary. That's what winning defense is right now. Not pressing and getting beat off the line of scrimmage. It just is. You know, people are stuck in the Jim Johnson era. People are stuck in the Buddy Ryan era. Not just in Philly, across the NFL as a whole. People are stuck like that. So, you know, it is what it is, though. All right, so around the NFL, obviously the Eagles. I just want to compare the rest of the NFL and how teams did yesterday to kind of give you guys a picture on where the Eagles stand. Obviously, the Chiefs beat the Dolphins. The Dolphins are definitely falling down my list here. Another loss. Only scoring 14 points is not ideal for that team. The Vikings, Josh Dobbs coming in and winning when the other guy got hurt for the Vikings, beating the Falcons at home was a very good win for the Vikings yesterday. And crazy enough, the Vikings are not out of the playoff picture yet. The Browns shut out the Cardinals. No surprise there. The Cardinals, I don't even know what the guy's name, but who did even play quarterback in that game for the Eagles or for the Cardinals? I'll get back to the comments in a section, guys. Clayton Tune, he had 58 passing yards yesterday. That just tells you all about that. I like the Browns defense. I can't give them credit though for shutting out the Cardinals. Packers got a big win over the Rams yesterday. Uh, I don't really get excited about that. The Washington Commanders give away all their guys and then go out and beat the Patriots. The Patriots really are going to consider moving on from Bill Belichick here soon. I really, really, truly believe that. Saints beat the Bears. I mean, that Bears kid, Bajan or whatever his name is, really nice kid, really nice story. But they had 5 turnovers, 6 turnovers yesterday. He had 3 interceptions and a couple fumbles. Yeah, the Bears are just bad football team. Saints aren't great for. If anything, it looks bad that the Saints only beat them by 7. But the games that I really wanted to talk about were the Ravens smoking the Seahawks, and then obviously the Bengals beating the Bills last night. Am I crazy to say? I mean, the NFL power rankings at this point is probably Eagles, Chiefs, Ravens, Bengals. They're probably the 4 best teams in the NFL at this point. And they were all top teams on my list to start the season. So what is Seth going to do with a physical specimen like Jordan Davis other than pissing him off? Yeah, he'll probably try to play him at linebacker or something like that. Seth was so critical of Davis that he said something about he will whip him into shape, give it a rest. Jordan Davis, like if you're critical of Jordan Davis, and Jordan Davis got hard, he was trying. I think he hurt his hammy a little bit yesterday. I was chasing someone down from behind early in the game. You saw him come off the field right away. It was like the play or two right after Fletcher Cox got hurt. Um, do you want Jordan Davis losing 60 pounds? Like seriously? Like Jordan Davis is a specimen. He is a beast. Yeah, he can't play 60 snaps every game. But when he is out there, he is getting pushed. He's commanding double teams. Anybody that's critical of Jordan Davis, you got something wrong with you. Patriots are a terrible football team this year. The game has passed Bill by. Time to step aside. Yeah, I mean, the Patriots are terrible. They've put all their eggs in Mac Jones for like the 3rd year in a row. Mac Jones is not the real deal. The way the Patriots won it first was with a great quarterback and a great team, no weapons. And then they got Tom Brady, uh, Randy Moss, and he had a big weapon, and they won even bigger. But you lose Tom Brady, and you go from Tom Brady to Mac Jones. There's obviously going to be a drop off. But it's not just Mac Jones's fault. They have terrible line, terrible game plan. They have no weapons on offense. Their defense isn't what it used to be. I mean, I just think it's time for a hard reset in New England. Um, Plain and simple. This was last year's Seth's comment on the Jordan Davis. I get it, but I wouldn't be surprised. There are still people criticizing Jordan Davis. I saw people on Twitter yesterday asking for Jordan Davis to be benched and stuff like that because of this and that. Like I criticized Dallas Goedert and Avonte Maddox for always being injured, and people are saying ship Jordan Davis out of here yesterday because he got hurt and came out of the game for a little bit yesterday. But yeah, you got N'Kobe Dean, Avonte Maddox, and Dallas Goedert never healthy. And I was awful for criticizing them, supposedly. Seth's fans are over 50. I love him as a player, but as an analyst, he's just not very good. And you're over 50, Mark, so you fit into that category, right? Borderline 50, right? I'm glad we're criticizing or critiquing Seth's behavior towards his team. Howie will never hire this man. I truly, yeah. Well, why would Howie hire a guy that's been critical of the team? But why would any team hire him? Like, what has he done to have proven that he knows football? Like his analyst stuff sucks. Jacob should hire They're going to hire Moscatelli before me. What? 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 Mac Jones is a distant third of Alabama quarterbacks playing in the NFL. Yeah, Mac Jones. Look, I'm critical of Mac Jones. Mac Jones stinks, but Mac Jones was also put in a terrible situation, being the heir apparent to Tom Brady, being given far too many opportunities, and being given a terrible team. I mean, Mac Jones stinks, but it's not his fault. It's like that Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones tore his ACL, it seems, yesterday, and that's heartbreaking. But Daniel Jones and Mac Jones were put in the bad spots, and the teams keep doubling down on their bad decisions, which keeps putting them in bad spots, which just shows that these guys should be holding a clipboard. These guys should be second and third string quarterbacks. Yet teams hate admitting that they're wrong, and they double down and they triple down, they quadruple down. Just like major media people hate to be wrong, so they double down and triple down on their bad opinions. It's crazy. They're shooting themselves in the foot. The only criticism I have of Davis is his jersey is way too small. Exactly. Can't they find dude, I hired a new employee at my pizza shop, and I'm like, "What size shirt you want?" And he said, "A large." I'm like, "Yeah, you're not wearing no large, man. No way." I'm like, "No, maybe an XL, probably a double XL." N'Kobe Dean will not be an Eagle within 2 years. Can't stay on the field, and when he is, he's just okay. Look, Mark, it's a conversation we're gonna have to have. I mean, especially the fact that he can't stay on the field. He can't prove if he's better than okay if he can't stay on the field. Um, I do not believe he has coached anywhere, maybe a Pee Wee football team, but I'm pretty sure he does not have any coaching experience, Seth Joyner. Isn't AJ McCarron? I think he was in the USFL or the XFL. K1. I don't think he's in the NFL right now. He might be, but I know he played in the USFL earlier this year. Mac Jones, who? Mac Jones. Like Mac Jones is just so not good, but he's put into a bad spot every single week. Give this man a five. He might have a 5XL on already, Marshawn. He might need a 7XL. Is the quarterback quality so low that Mac Jones? It's a very interesting point, Duck, because if you look at it, there's Patrick Mahomes, then you've got the Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrows, and then you've got a bunch of really good quarterbacks. Justin Herbert, and Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. But outside of the top 6 or 7 quarterbacks in the NFL, like quarterbacks that you would consider like the 14th or 15th best quarterback in the NFL, in other eras wouldn't be the top 25 quarterbacks. The quarterback play in the NFL is definitely weak. And the reason is because teams they draft guys too high in the draft. They put these guys in bad positions to fail. You start guys way too early before they're ready to start. There's just it's a quarterback driven league, and teams are too patient with some. They're not patient enough with others. I mean, Dak Prescott's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. That says it. Daniel Jones, honestly, I mean, he's terrible, but he's a top 20 quarterback in the NFL, and he shouldn't be. There is definitely after the top 5 or 6, there is some serious problems in the NFL. But K1, fantastic point here. I saw it pop up. CJ Stroud looked good. I mean, 470 yards for CJ Stroud yesterday. I mean, I don't care who you're playing. You put up 470 yards as a rookie. I mean, that's pretty damn good. Now we'll see if CJ Stroud can sustain the success with Houston. They still have lots of draft picks. They got a lot of young players. They got a great young coach in D'Amico Ryan, building a culture there. They're not a contender yet, but I mean, the Bucs defense I thought was good, but they gave up 39 to the Texans yesterday. So I don't know if they're that good or not. But we'll have to see as we go forward. But CJ Stroud, absolutely, looked very good so far this year. Anyway, I forgot to mention that game, and I forgot to mention one other game yesterday. Colts beating the Panthers, and then obviously the Raiders. The Raiders fire everybody, and then go out and beat the Giants. And still somehow the Raiders are only 4-5, and they benched their starting quarterback and went with Aiden O'Connell too yesterday. Just goes to show how bad the Giants are. So that's that. But I want to pull up the standings of the NFL here real quick. I just want to see where these divisions are right now. Um, you got the Dolphins, Jets. Look, the Jets actually, honestly, if they go out and win tonight, which honestly, so I got a 27-point lead in the Philadelphia Sports Network Fantasy Football League. 27 points. I traded away half my team, and I'm about to go 2 wins in a row after trading away half my team. But I'm going up against the Jets defense. Jets defense got to stay under 27 fantasy points today. Um, but it's a big moment for them going up against Justin Herbert on Monday Night Football. But the Jets, if they come out and win, they're only a half a game back of the Dolphins in the AFC East. It's kinda crazy how that's playing out the AFC East. Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, Browns are all really good teams, all in the same division. Somebody's gonna miss the playoffs in the AFC North, that deserves to be in. Jacksonville, dominating that division, but Houston's only 2 games back. Something to keep an eye on there. And then the Chiefs are running away with the West. Then in the East, obviously, we got the 2.5 game lead. Uh, Washington, I don't know what to think about just yet. Detroit's got a big-ish lead over the Vikings, and confidence-wise, the in NFC South, it could be still anybody's division at that point. And then San Francisco and Seattle dominating the NFC West right now. Um, we are 4-0 in the division. We're undefeated in the conference, in the division. Hold on, actually, I was making a joke, but it was a bad joke. Uh, Undefeated in the conference and the division right now. Look, the Eagles are the best team in football right now, and I don't think you can make any argument against it. When you're 8-1 through 9 weeks, you're 8-1 through 9 weeks. There's nothing you could say. You could say the score differential isn't good enough. You can say whatever you want, but the Eagles are the best team in football right now, no doubt about it. Good morning, Davon. What's going on? Go Birds! What a game yesterday. Got a question though. What you think the plan is for tight end? Dallas injury is very important. We've talked about it a few times. Um, Based off of last year, they'll probably just roll with more Stoll. It is the bye week. It'll give them the opportunity to bring in some guys to work out if they want. Dan Arnold is still available, and he was here all camp long. Maybe you go get Dan Arnold, but honestly, you probably stick with Stoll. And some of those Goddard touches and targets go the way of Julio Jones, who played some snaps yesterday, just didn't have a target his way yesterday. So I think Julio Jones is a weird answer to say he is the answer target wise, at least in my opinion. Eagles Cowboys game probably had great ratings yesterday. Oh my god, I'm sure they did, and it came down to the wire, so nobody tuned out at all. Currently, the entire AFC North would be in the playoffs. Would they all of them? Well, that's right because I'm thinking there's only two wild card teams. There's three, so yeah, they would be the entire. The AFC North is a tough division, man. Always is. Eagles are best team in football by a margin. They still haven't played a clean game, and we talk about this a lot, Mark. That well, just wait till wait till they play a full game because they haven't played a full game. Well, maybe this is the full complete game that they've played. Like how we see, it's not like it's 2 games in a row of not playing complete games. It's 9 games of not playing complete. So maybe this is just what this team is: a flawed team that's got great leaders at the top that get the job done in the critical moments. We're coming up to the final 5, 6 minutes of the show. One final time, I'm going to ask. We're up to 24 likes on YouTube, 10 on Facebook. Make sure you hit that like and share button for me. I greatly appreciate it. The answer is Aqua Bowman. I just don't know if you see much of Aqua Bowman. I mean, when Goddard went down, he didn't really play much in his place. There weren't a lot of plays, but he really didn't get on the field. I don't know. I think it's stolen. If Calcaterra is healthy, he'll get on the field. Aqua Bowman will dress and be the third guy, but I wouldn't rule out the possibility of them bringing in another. No, if Grant Calcaterra, his concussion is worse than we realize, they will bring in somebody else. And I think it's Stoll. That's what they did last year. They ran with Stoll. He didn't do great, but they still won games. And with Julio Jones here, you've got a big target that you can get those first down pass, those third down, plays and routes that Dallas Goedert runs. You can run them with Julio Jones. You can run with Julio Jones in the red zone. Do you think we can grab OJ Howard? Do you think he is available? I don't even know if he's available or not. I do know Dan Arnold is, and look, Dan Arnold ain't anything special, but he was a guy that was here in camp, so knows the playbook, knows the team. So I would think he would be the best option if you're going to bring somebody in. Obviously, I've already seen like 40 Eagles fans calling out for the Howie to call Gronkowski. I'm not doing that. That would be a distraction because of his personality, and you don't need any kind of distraction like that right now or ever. So that's just my opinion on Gronkowski. Won't it be interesting that the Eagles finally play their most complete games in the NFC and Super Bowl? Um, yeah, let's save the best for the last. And look, we've got this tough juggernaut of a schedule coming up after the bye. But let's think about that schedule. After what we just saw them do with Dallas, one of the games is against Dallas. Now, Dallas will be out for revenge, and that'll be a tough game in Dallas. But Buffalo don't look as good as we thought they were. So maybe that's not as tough as it is. Baltimore gave you a game plan on how you could beat Seattle yesterday. So maybe Seattle's not as good. So you got the Chiefs game and you got the big return game against the 49ers. So maybe it's not as bad. I said, could we go 4-2? 3-3 would be okay, but 4-2 in that stretch. We've already got one win, and some of the other teams are starting to show some flaws. So maybe we definitely go 4-2 in that stretch now. Maybe 5-1 in that stretch. It's gonna be tough coming out of the bye, going to Kansas City, primetime night. It was a Sunday night or Monday night football game. It's gonna be a tough game, and I know Kyle, you're gonna be there, shouting and screaming for all of us. I expect some hands-on accounts after that Eagles Kansas City game right here in the comment section from you, Kyle. Aqua Bowman had a pretty good year in Denver a couple years ago. A couple years ago. Just gonna highlight that section of your comment there, K1. Albert O will definitely get more touches. He'll get more snaps. Will he get touches? I don't know. Will he get targeted? I don't know. It's the snaps versus the target. I think the targets are going to go to Julio. Who gets the snaps at tight end? I don't know. Dallas pays off all the refs, not just the silent refs when you play in Dallas. Maybe. If I'm awake, yeah, you might not be awake for the day after the game, but you'll be awake at some point during the week after it. And I expect firsthand accounts of the Eagles in in Kansas City. There, last sip of coffee, perfect timing. There's 3 minutes left. Problem is, our flaws are showing as well. Davon, we have flaws. There is no doubt about it. There are flaws on this Eagles team. But guess what? What's special? And I said this to somebody. Great teams always find ways to win those close games. Average teams find ways to lose them. Great teams find ways to win. The Eagles are a great team. They are 8-1. They have flaws, but they don't let the flaws come back to bite them in the ass. So we have problems. We are, though, the most complete team in the NFL at this point, based off of our record. Cowboys had advantage in every statistical category. That's why analytics don't tell the whole story. Mister, you're right. And that's, you got to dig deep and make the plays when they matter most. The Eagles made more plays when it mattered most than Dallas did. I don't care what the score is at halftime. I care what the score is at the end of the game. At the end of the game, the Eagles scored more than the Cowboys, so they won the game. They made more plays. Brandon Graham coming up big at the end of the game. Hassan Reddick coming up big at the end of the game. Reed Blankenship coming up big at the end of the game. That's all that matters. Change the Paul Simon lyrics to Hurts and Julio down in the playground because Goddard is out. I like it. I like where you're going with that one. Papa looked down and spit on the ground every time my name is mentioned. What was the final time possession? It was almost identical. I had it up. Give me a second here. I could find it pretty easily for you. I think it was something like 29 and a half to 30 and a half. The Cowboys had 29 minutes and 42 seconds of play time of possession. The Eagles had 30 minutes and 18 seconds. So there was literally 36-second difference in time of possession yesterday, Duck. Guys, it's time to start the wrap-up process here. We're coming at the end of 90 minutes here on Trending in the AM. Right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Make sure you hit those like and share and subscribe buttons. Free to do it, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, wherever you are. I'd greatly appreciate the support. It's bye week. Where we're going to go this week, we got 4 days with no game to preview. So tomorrow, obviously, we'll learn more about the injuries of this team. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. We'll talk about the NFL as a whole a little bit more tomorrow. We're going to try to bring in some Sixers conversation this week to the equation, being that the Sixers are playing fantastically. I'll try to get Justin on the show from Philadelphia Sports Network and some of the other writers on the show this week. So lots of great content going to come this week, but we might mix it up a little throughout the week, being that it is bye week, and talk some different topics. That game was a dogfight, and Brandon Graham was the secret weapon. Cowboys didn't know what hit them. Love it. It's a great comment to end the show on. Honestly, I won't lie. It's a great comment to end right there as we got 50 seconds left. So we'll just call it right there. You are watching Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. I am Phil Stiefel. Make sure you got those notifications turned on as well so you don't miss a second when we go live. Everybody have a great day. Yes, another great show. I appreciate each and every one of you that tuned in today. Lots of great comments today. But we'll be back tomorrow, 8 a.m. for another episode. Y'all have a great day. Go Birds. Go Philadelphia Sports Network. Peace out. A-Town down for you, for somebody in the comments. Everybody have a great day, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Go Birds.